An event is coming and you have no costume. Let's take 1 hour to get ready and make you your own highly customizable leather mask. All right, so we're going to start to make a mask. And to do that, we're going to start by making a super basic shape. I made all of these in one afternoon, including all of the wet forming and drying. Hour turnaround if you're really on a tight timeline. If you want to put a little more effort into them, you can take a day or two to really hone that in. Now, this basic shape is what we'll use to create all of the examples that you can see here. This will be our baseline, and from there, we can create all sorts of other images. So to create this, you need a couple of measurements. This doesn't have a technical pattern because there is no real pattern here to work from. So what we want to do is we want to look at the shape of our eyes and our faces, and some measurements you want to keep in mind. There is approximately 2 inches between the corner of each of your eyes, including the bend of your nose. Now, if you measure this with a straight, like a ruler, this is going to show you 1 inch. But because we want the bend in the bridge of our nose to be there, we want to make that approximately 2 inches from corner to corner. The average adult human eye is about 1.5 to 1.75 inches wide and 1 inch high. And from the bridge of your nose to your hairline is approximately 5 inches. So when we make these measurements to create our pattern, we want to take where our eyes are and take where our hairline is and start building a shape around it, which will create something like this, or this pattern that we have. Now, you can make this as big or as fat, whatever you want from there. But once you have your basic shape, take that basic shape, cut it out so you have it. And what I did was I folded a piece of paper in half and cut it around together so both sides were exactly even. All of these were made with a scrap 3 to 4 ounce leather that I have. You could do 3 to 4 ounce. If you want these to last a little bit longer than that, I would recommend going closer to that 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 ounce, something that's going to hold its shape over time and last you years and years to come. But something that's going to last you about a year, your 3 to 4 ounce should be fine. Something that's going to last you a little bit more long term, you're looking at probably closer to a 4 to 6 ounce. So from there, you can add, like we did here. This is my same basic shape. However, I made the eye shape slightly different. And then I added some spikes to give it kind of a mermaid or siren appearance. On this side, I just dyed it. And then on this side, I dyed and painted it, depending on how much time or energy or effort you want to put into that. I did a little bit of wet forming when it was just the plain veg-tan, and I put it on my face and built the nose of the bridge there to give it that shape before I dyed and painted it. Now, similarly with this one, this is actually made of 2 pieces. I changed the eyes to shape slightly and then made this forehead area a little bit bigger to create this piece. And these horns, I actually used a straight piece, and then before I dyed and painted, I wet formed those as well. So now we've got these sorts of horns. They're glued on the back. However, you could also rivet them. I did kind of a daredevil style on this one where it's just dark around the eye and a little bit more red around the outsides. And this one a little bit more kind of patchy and watercolor rough in there to get a different appearance for both of those. And then for this one, I did go ahead and add some ears to the pattern, which again, we're looking at our base pattern, almost exactly the same, right? I just added a couple little ears and then painted it in kind of an Egyptian style, blues, golds, yellows, with some hard black lines in there. So this base pattern can turn into absolutely anything. You could put flames, you could turn it into a little more kind of skull-esque. You could extend into sort of a jaw situation if you wanted to. This can come up higher. You can change the eye shape as much as you want. But for a quick turnaround, on an I need a costume, or I need something to wear right now. You have all sorts of different options by just starting with this simple formula and your simple pattern, and then build however you'd like. Now, when it comes to closures, I did all of these ones the same way. I just punched a hole that would fit some lace that I had, tied a knot at the end, and fed that through. This is how I held them to my face when I wet formed them too. I just wore them around my house for 20 minutes each until I got them to hold the shape that I wanted, and then hung them to dry until they finished drying. You could also instead install a slit where that hole is and push a piece of leather through, and then rivet or sew it there in place and add a buckle at the end. So you could have a buckle and a billet on that end if you wanted to do something like that. Either one is an option. It really just kind of depends on the vibe you're going for and how much time you want to put in. And that's it. You have a mask ready to go, whether it's for Halloween, Ren Fair, whatever it is you are looking to do. This is ready for you. Keep your pattern. If you want, go ahead and laminate that, or get some packing tape to faux laminate it. You could also put this into an acrylic cutter and make a permanent pattern. So depending on what you're looking for, this is just the start. However you want to take this idea and run with it is entirely up to you. However, when you do make yours, make sure to tag us on social media. We're on all of the platforms, so give us a tag. Let us know what you did in your special and creative way. We'll see you next time, and until then, happy crafting.